Here are my first impressions of the 2020 13-inch MacBook Pro base model. Let's get into it. So anyways, if you guys watch my videos, you guys know I just did an unboxing video of this, and what I wanted to do today is I really wanted to go ahead and just give you my first, 2 or 3 day impression. I'm 2 or 3 days into this. I've had this for a couple days. What are my first impressions of everything? And the main thing is I'm going to go ahead and do a screen share here in a second after I talk a little bit about it. But I want to go ahead and show you some of the performance of it and just what you can expect in a real world experience. Nothing, I'm not going to show you like benchmarks or anything like that, except for the speed of the hard drive. But I'm just going to show you like just opening up applications if you're interested in that kind of stuff and just see how this thing actually performs. First impression though is very good. It just feels like a solid machine, just like a big block of steel. Obviously, if you felt one of these in the store or something, you know that they're pretty solid. The speed of it though is really, really nice. It opens up applications really well, and from just having a couple days of use on this, it just feels like it's going to be a good addition to what I have. I do 1080p video editing, some 4K, and this can handle it. We'll do some videos down the line and showing you how fast they can render and stuff like that. But today I just want to show you some basics. Let's get into it. I'm not going to spend a ton of time on this. Just want to talk a little bit about it and show you guys what my initial impressions are. Let's go. All right, so I got this little bag for it. I'm going to do a review of this bag, and I also got a hub, so I'm going to do that in a little while, so that'll be coming in another video. Let's go ahead and take this out. So it's a very small system like I had mentioned, and very, again, just the feel, the fit and finish of this is really solid compared to some of my other systems that I have, 13-inch laptops. Let's go ahead and just take a quick peek in the load time. So I have the laptop just sitting here. Let's go ahead and open up the screen. Obviously, it's going to turn on fairly quickly here. You'll see it. It takes just a couple seconds, and there it goes. And it's going to go ahead and boot up here. Again, this has got a really fast hard drive, which I'm going to show you guys in a second how fast that is. Again, there's the screen there. I'm going to go ahead and black this out while I type my password in. All right, so then once you type your password in, it does have to go through another kind of boot system here just to load the whole OS up again. So it does take a few more seconds. And this is a lot faster than a lot of the systems out there, some of the older systems with spinning drives and what have you. But it does take a little bit longer than some of, I guess, my iMac and some of my other Macintosh systems here, just going through this boot sequence. But it boots fairly fast. Again, I'll go through and share my screen here. I'm going to show you some apps. I'm going to show you also, the speed of the drives, how fast applications open up. But I'm just going to do a screen share at that point, and then we can go ahead and we'll download that, and I'll go ahead and put that in the video. But I mean, my first impression of the screen, the screen is very nice. It's obviously a lot nicer than a 1080p screen. It's small, though. My first impressions of it were, I have to get used to the 13.3 inch or 13.3 inch screen versus I have a 15-inch laptop over here. And it's hard just to, again, it's just me personally. This is great for taking it to like a coffee shop or something, but if you want to get real work done, you have to kind of adjust to it. That was my first impression. Again, it does have this does come with, up here, this little touch bar, and I've only had this a few days and I haven't really used it that much at all. I think I've used it once or twice. I'm just still learning how to do it, but I don't see a ton of value in that. I'd almost rather, be just normal keys up there, function keys. But with that said, it does come with the hardened escape key right now, a real escape key. It didn't have that before. And it does have the fingerprint reader if you like go into sleep mode or something. And that's actually a key as well. So those are two nice features. The arrows have been redone a little bit on the key, but the actual Magic Keyboard is what the main difference is. And let me go ahead and pull up. So like if I go into notes or something, now my hands are not that big, and therefore, I don't know if it would affect people with really large hands. This keyboard is nice. I mean, it's very nice to type on and what have you, but it does seem a little bit cramped or small to me, and I don't have the biggest hands, so it just depends. If you're a huge person like 6'5", 6'6", this might be too small for you on the keyboard, but at the same time, it is really nice to, it's got the extra travel with the Magic Keyboard now. You don't have to worry about it always breaking or getting particles underneath it, so that's a huge positive to this new 2020 13-inch. The trackpad also is super responsive. I've never had any problems with any of Apple products. I really like this one. You can see the size of it here. It's really big compared to the actual screen. Look at that. So it's pretty big. It takes up maybe 50% of the bottom here, and the palm, where you actually rest your palms on it, where it doesn't register, when your palms hit this, that works really well. So that's another feature that works really well in this, and I don't get a lot of typing and stuff when I'm actually have my palms on the actual trackpad. Besides that though, everything is, the quality is great on this. It only has the two USB ports, C ports over here. They're Thunderbolt 3, so those are good, but there's only 2 of them. I did get a hub, which I'm going to get into with everyone here. In the next video, I'm going to show you my case and my hub and some other accessories that I got with this. But overall, the impressions of this is very nice. Let's go ahead and share the screen. You can see here just the fit and feel and everything about it is just really nice. It's just solid built compared to the other laptops I have. The other ones, it feels like if I was to drop them, it would break. And this one feels like if you dropped it, it would probably break, but it would also dent the floor. I have wood floors. It would probably dent them pretty good. So at the end of the day, it just seems like a tank of a laptop for being so small. And that seems just, like it's going to last a long time. Oh yeah, and then also the speakers. I did run some stuff on the speakers, and they actually are really good quality. You can see the speakers here, if I can get this in the shot, but there's one over here, one over here. They're not nearly as good as a 16-inch, but the 13-inch .3 is probably better than any Windows laptop out there. They sound really well. This volume only got, it didn't get as loud as I actually thought it was going to get, but it got fairly loud, probably loud enough. I mean, the headphone jack you'd probably want to use if you got any louder, but just keep that in mind. It's not super, super loud. And so that's one thing to consider, but it is good sounding. And then the actual screen, I have the screen right now. Things come across differently anytime that you're on a camera like this. But at the end of the day, let's go ahead and just take a look. I think I have this about 80% or so of the brightness. And so this gets pretty bright. I mean, it's not as bright as I thought maybe. It does get up to 500 nits, but it is bright enough. I mean, I'm in, when I'm in fairly lit rooms and stuff, I can see it, good enough. It's better than most of my other laptops as well. And it's maybe not as good as obviously a 5K screen up here, but it is a good screen, and it's such a small screen that it does look really nice. So let's get into the performance of this. I'll show everyone about that. Just wanted to go through some of my basic impressions there on the system and what I initially felt. All right, so let's just do some real world tests here. Nothing special, just going to show you some of the speed here. Let's go ahead and launch Safari. Click right there. Boom, comes up. So you don't get a lot of bounces. I mean, things come up really fast, like websites, as you can see. I mean, I'm sharing my screen right now, and the screens are a little bit different size, so that's why you can't see the whole screen right now. But just look how fast things come up. I mean, basically, it's very, very snappy system. You don't get a lot of beach ball bounce or anything like that, or spinning. There's a lot of different sites you can test. Obviously, this depends on your website and how fast, or your internet connection and how fast that is. But I just wanted to show you just basically Safari. It takes 2 seconds to come up. So that's one thing to show you. Let's go ahead and look at some other programs. I mean, if you go down to the bottom here, let's go ahead and take a look at, let's do iMovie. So iMovie's, what is that? Bam, comes up in about 2 bounces. So I have an iMac with about 24 gigs of RAM. This laptop's only got 8, and it takes about the same amount of time to launch that. Maps, just these very basic applications launch really, really quickly, as you can see. Obviously you can move maps really quickly, and everything loads in really quickly. So some of the older systems, you'd get some of that, stagnation and stuff, but in this one, it's very, very snappy. I'm going to show you here in a second. Let's go ahead and just do Pages. It takes, 2 bounces, opens up. I think this might be the first time I'm opening this up. That might be even taken longer than it should have. But in any case, you can see how, how quick things are here. And what I'm going to do after I type this in, just to do a little test here, I want to go ahead and do a couple speed tests and on the hard drives coming up. But let me just do 1 or 2 more applications just to show you the speed of this system. Again, everything is very, very quick. Here's notes, 1, 2 bounces, and it's up. Sometimes it's less than that. So my first impression is it's at least, it seems as fast as my iMac, and while that's 2 or 3 years old, this system's a lot smaller, so you wouldn't expect that. I use Keynote a lot. Keynote launches in 1 second, not even. Another quick application there that launches very, very quickly. But let's do the hard drives, because that's one of the things a lot of people want to see here. So on the hard drives themselves, let's go into, actually, I have Blackmagic somewhere. Let me see if I can find that. So a Blackmagic test here. Let's go ahead and do just 2 different size tests here. Let's go ahead. This one's at 5 GB. And see that block, the stress test there. So it's going to be a little bit slower than the top speeds. So if you do this, look on the rights, it looks like it's about 12, got up a little higher, 12, 11. And then on the reads, it's about, 1679. Let's go ahead and stop that. Let's go ahead and do 1 GB. This is going to be a little bit faster to show you the speed of the drives. So this is actually around 1373 and then 1876. So pretty fast on the hard drive, the SSD drive. Overall, though, this thing's very snappy, so I highly recommend it for a system if you're going to be using it every day. Very, very good system. All right, so I'm a couple days in, and so far my impressions have been fairly good. I got this for $10.99, which is a great price, you know, just about $1,100. You know, I was thinking about the 16-inch because I do video editing and things like that, but at the end of the day, you know, this was about $1,000 or half the cost. It's smaller, you know, if I want to go sit down at a coffee shop and do work where I don't have to be in an office and stuff, I can take this with me. It's built the same kind of quality. It has, you know, fairly good speakers, maybe not as good as a 16-inch. It's going to take a little bit more time to render, but I'm not, you know, for me, you know, an extra 5 or 10 minutes or whatever in a longer video isn't going to make or break me. So for me, it's not a big issue. The main issue is going to just be portability for me, and also the screen's pretty good for my eyes and things like that. I mean, I don't like the ports. I mean, you have to carry a dongle, and I have a video coming up of a dongle. I'm going to show you my case and things. But beyond that, it's a great system. So my initial impressions have been positive. I'll keep making videos on this system, and maybe 2 or 3 more, just showing you some performance, some specific things like video editing. So just, you know, if you want to subscribe to my channel, help me out. I'll definitely, you know, keep posting. If you're thinking about this machine, look for the price of that $10.99. That's one of the best prices I've seen it at. And don't compromise. Wait for it to go back down and pull the trigger. And if something else better comes out in that time, then definitely get that. But right now, this is good for the price. $10.99 is, you know, really hard to beat on this. So I recommend it. Anyways, subscribe if you can. We'll talk on the next video.